start the class today. We can say that uh, we studied about the electronegativity. Even yesterday we have revised about the electronegativity, and yesterday we studied about the periodic trends in valence of elements shown by the various compounds. So we even studied about the variable oxidation state, which is possible into the transition elements as well as the alkanoids. Now we are going to study about the anomalous properties of second period elements. The first element of each of the group 1 lithium and group 2 beryllium and group 13 to 7 boron to fluorine differs in many respects from the other member of the respective group or from the same group. You know, this element of the second period, they are generally the first element of group 2, group 3, 13, group 14 to 15, group 16 and group 17. And they behave differently from the other element of their own group. For example, now we'll see how they are different from the other element of their group. Lithium and beryllium are different that they make covalent compound, while the other element of group 2, predominantly group 1 and group 2, they predominantly make the ionic compound but not the covalent compound. So this is how they are different. Lithium and beryllium show diagonal relationship. For example, lithium is very similar to magnesium. Beryllium is very similar to aluminum. So you can see that if we go left to right, my dear students, the atomic radii decreases. If we go down the group, the atomic radii increases. So now if we move from lithium to beryllium, the atomic radii decreases. And if we move from lithium to sodium, the atomic radii increases. But if we go diagonally, that means if we go from lithium to magnesium, the increase in radii and decrease in radii is expected to be cancelling each other. So this is how we can understand that in this particular case, if we really look at, we find that lithium and magnesium uh, are having the same size, and as they have the same size, they have the same characteristics or same chemical properties. Same thing happens with the beryllium. When we move from beryllium to boron, the atomic size is expected to be decreased. But when we move from beryllium to lithium, the atomic size is expected to be increased. But while moving from Mahendra Bharia, will you please mute yourself? But by moving from beryllium to aluminium, the increase and decrease of the atomic radii are equal, and thus beryllium and aluminum have the equal atomic sizes. As these elements have the equal atomic sizes, these type of they have similar chemical properties. This type of similarity is called diagonal relationship, and diagonal relationship is measured majorly due to the similar atomic radius. Think if we go lithium to sodium, size increases, but lithium to beryllium size decreases. Again, beryllium to magnesium size increases. So atomic size of lithium is similar to that size of magnesium, and the size of beryllium is very similar to the size of aluminium. This is how, as the atomic size of beryllium and aluminum are, lithium and magnesium are almost same, they show this similar chemical property and physical properties. Elements of second period have comparatively small size, as only 1s and 2s are filled, or 1s and 2s and 2p are filled. So if you move to the second period, you generally realize that the uh, in second period only n is equal to 2 are filled. That means 1s is filled, 2s and 2p are filled. Whereas if you go down the group, there are possibility of filling the n is equal to 3, n is equal to 4, n is equal to 5, n is equal to 6. shells, and that is why they have little bigger size. But these elements are very small in size as compared to the other elements. As they are very small in size, elements of second period have generally high or large charge is to radius ratio. Due to small size, the charge into radius ratio increases because radius decreases or the radiuses are very small. And in a particular group, the oxidation number is almost same for almost all the elements. The electronegativity of second period element is highest in all groups of representative element except group 18 and hydrogen. So you should know that in this particular case, that we have the group number 2, they have got the highest electronegativity, because going down the group, the electronegativity decreases. So they have the highest electronegativity. We know that position of hydrogen is not fixed, so we do not consider it as a part of the group number 1. The element of period 2 do not have vacant d orbitals. They have 1s, 2s and 2p orbital. 2d is not possible. So the elements of group 2, element of period 2, they do not have vacant d orbital. But all the other elements, because from 3, n is equal to 3, 3d is possible, 4d is possible. So that is what I have written, that 2d is not possible, while 3d, 4d, 5d, 6d are available. So for the other elements, there is a possibility of having the vacant d orbital in their outermost shell. As the period 2 elements do not have vacant d orbital, they have 1 2s and 3 2p, total 4 orbitals vacant with them. As these 4 orbitals are vacant with them, their valence is limited up to 4 elements, or period 2 do not make more than 4 bonds. So you can understand that their valence is maximum up to 4. Thus boron can only make BF4 minus, whereas the other members of group can expand their valence up to 6. For example, aluminum can expand its valence up to 6 and make AlF6 minus 3. As orbital is not present, element of period 2 can make multiple bond only. So as the d orbital is not present, element of period 2 can make multiple bond. This multiple bond that element of period 2 can make is known as the p-pi kind of bond. You can see that carbon can combine with carbon with double bond, triple bond, nitrogen can combine with double bond, nitrogen can combine with triple bond, carbon can combine with oxygen with double bond, carbon can combine with nitrogen with double bond, nitrogen can combine with oxygen with double bond. But elements of other period cannot make, or they are not comfortable making the p-pi bond, but they make d-pi bond also, because they have vacant d orbital present with them. This d-pi kind of bond, or this d-pi kind of multiple bond is not possible for the element of group or element of period 2, and this is how even they are different from the other elements of the same group. So we can see that there are so many various characters according to which we can say that the element of period 2 shows the anomalous behavior. The abnormal or different anomalous behavior of second period element is called second period anomaly. So now we can understand what is second period anomaly. Second period anomaly is the characteristics of the second period element, which are generally the first element of many group. They differ from the other element of the same group by various ways, and this phenomena is known as the second period anomaly. The second period anomaly is due to the small size, high electronegativity, unavailability of vacant d orbitals, and that is what it leads to the limited valence up to 4, and only p-pi bond is possible, but a d-pi bond is not possible. So this is how we summarize the second period anomaly, my dear students. Please learn these points and remember them well for a longer time, so that they are going to help you a lot. Periodic trends such as diagonal relationship, inert pair effect and lengthened contraction, they are also periodic trends, but we are not going to study them in this chapter. We shall study them in other chapters in future, either in 12th standard or in 11th standard. Now we just want to summarize all the periodic trends. So we can see that I have made a table for you. Looking into this table, we can understand the various periodic trends changing according to down the group and going left to right into the period. See, we first will see about the atomic radius. Going left to right or across the period, the atomic radius decreases, but going down the group, atomic radius increases. Ionization enthalpy going left to right into the period increases, whereas going down the group, the ionization enthalpy decreases. Electron gain enthalpy going left to right increases, but going down the group it decreases. Metallic character going going left to right decreases, but going down the group metallic character increases. Non-metallic character going left to right increases, but going down the group non-metallic character decreases. Electronegativity going left to right increases, but going down the group electronegativity decreases. So these are the various periodic properties that we have studied, and these properties we have summarized given now so that you can understand and remember them for a longer time. Now we'll move and understand some more facts. We know that by one or the other way, periodic properties are related to electronic configuration. So we understand or we explain the periodic trends using the electronic configuration, and that is why it is very much important to learn about the electronic configuration of all the elements. Reactivity of element is extreme at two ends of the periodic table, and reactivity decreases as we move towards the middle of the periodic table. So if we move towards the middle of the periodic table, the reactivity of element decreases and it becomes very less in between. Noble gases have positive electron gain enthalpies. These are the facts, my dear students, that I have been sharing with you. Please try to learn them and remember them. Noble gases have positive electron gain enthalpies. Please remember, metals being electropositive like to release electron, like to donate electron. Non-metal being electronegative accept electron, they make negative ions. Metals make positive ion, non-metal makes negative ion. This property can be related to the reducing and oxidizing property. So this metallic and non-metallic property generally can be related to the reducing and oxidizing property. This is what it can be understood that. Please remember that metals are reducing in nature, whereas non-metals are oxidizing in nature. So this is how we study about the reducing and oxidizing property, but that we will discuss separately into the chapters that we will study separately. Chemical reactivity of the element can be best understood by their reaction with oxygen and halogen. We know that generally, or even when we look at the Mendeleev's periodic table that we studied into the 10th standard, he chosen to allow all the elements to react with hydrogen, oxygen, and halogen and water. So we can easily understand that if we want to understand the reactivity of the various elements, we will have to compare them with or we will have to ask them to react with either hydrogen, oxygen, halogen and water. So let's think about the reactivity with oxygen today. Element of two extreme group 1 alkali metals like lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium, and group 17 halogen, they are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. They easily react with oxygen to form oxides. Now let us look at the oxides. Oxides formed by the element of extreme length, they are basic in nature. For example, sodium oxide Na2O. See, elements present at the extreme left of the periodic table, they are metals, and metals when they form oxide, their oxides are basic in nature. Oxides formed by the element of the extremely right, they are non-metals. Oxides from the very element of the extremely right in the periodic table, that is group 17, which are known as halogen, are most acidic. You can see the example of Cl2O7. Cl2O7 is highly acidic in nature. Oxides of element in the center are amphoteric. You can see that the oxides of the aluminium or arsenic, Al2O3 or AS2O3, they are amphoteric in nature. Or neutral, if you look at the oxides of nitrogen, carbon. So NO, CO and N2O, they are the neutral oxides. Remember, my dear students, that amphoteric oxides behaves as acid with base and as a base with acid. Neutral oxides do not have either acidic or basic properties at all. So this is how, my dear students, we understand about the acidic and basic oxide, but as we know that as we come towards the middle of the periodic table, the acidic and basic character changes, In case of the nitrogen and carbon, their oxides are found neutral. Some of their oxides are found neutral, whereas the oxides of aluminum and arsenic are found to be amphoteric in nature. The ionization enthalpy of transition element are intermediate between S block and P block. Please remember, my dear students, that the transition element, which are called the D block elements, these transition element, they have their ionization enthalpy value intermediate between the S block element and P block element. In other words, we can say that their ionization enthalpy would be more than S block element but less than P block element. D block elements are also metals. So metals or elements are comparatively less electropositive than S block elements. So these D block elements are comparatively less electropositive than the S block elements. So my dear students, here we complete the theory portion of this chapter, and now we should study about some of the important questions related to this chapter. Let us try to study these important questions, or what important terms related to, or important questions that are related to this chapter. So we have finished the theory, and now we can move to the exercise. Dear students, can you hear me? Hello, dear students, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
All of you can hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, dear students, if you
Yes,
have anything to ask about
sir.
this chapter, you can ask me. Do you have any doubt in anything what we have discussed? Do you want to ask something? Something that you could not understand? At least say no if you really understood everything. Or ask if you really don't have any doubt. Ask if you really have any doubt in a true sense. Do you pay attention? क्या आप लोग ध्यान से पढ़ते हो?
Yes, sir.
जो
Yes, sir.
सब कुछ समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
कुछ
Yes,
पूछना है क्या?
No,
Yes, sir.
Yes. No.
no, sir.
पूछना
sir.
है कि नहीं पूछना है?
नहीं पूछना.
No, sir.
पूछना है तो आप फ्री हैं, पूछ सकते हैं, मैं एक्सप्लेन करने का ट्राई करूंगा. अगर नहीं पूछना है तो चलिए फिर लेट अस मूव टुवर्ड्स द एक्सरसाइज. शैल वी? चले एक्सरसाइज की ओर. एक्सरसाइज
yes,
पढ़ेंगे बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
चलिए
sir.
फिर जैसे आपकी मर्जी बच्चों.
Yes, sir.
आपको स्क्रीन पे कुछ ऑब्स्टिकल आ रहा है, येलो स्क्वायर दिख रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
चलो हट गया. लेट्स थैंक टू गॉड. लेट अस लुक एट दी.
जाका दिख रहा है.
Okay, let us look at the question. How would you explain the fact that first ionization enthalpy of sodium is lower than that of magnesium, but second ionization enthalpy of sodium is higher than that of magnesium? Let us try to answer this question. See, enthalpy change or energy required to remove an electron from the isolated neutral gaseous atom from its outermost orbital in the ground state is called the first ionization enthalpy. Let us look at the example. Sodium, that is having the electronic configuration neon 3s1, the atomic number Z is equal to 1. So sodium that releases one electron and make Na plus 1 we require first ionization enthalpy. Now sodium when turns into sodium plus 1, the 3s electron goes away and it becomes like neon. So when sodium turns into sodium plus 1, sodium turns out to be very stable like neon. But when we look at the magnesium, the electronic configuration is neon 3s2. This neon 3s2 is much stable because s orbital is completely filled. So it is difficult to remove the first electron from the neon 3s1, and that is why more amount of energy is required, and that is why the first ionization enthalpy of magnesium is higher than the first ionization enthalpy of sodium. That is what we have written, my dear students, here. Just 1 minute, my dear students, I am trying to reconfigure the sharing so that we can understand or we do not have this disturbance. Okay, so from this we can understand that the first ionization enthalpy for magnesium is higher than the sodium. Let us read what I have written. Sodium loses its first electron from 3s1 and become like neon. Sodium loses its first electron. Sodium loses its first electron from 3s1 and become like neon. In magnesium 3s2, s orbital is completely filled, so it is stable, difficult to remove an electron. And therefore, the first ionization enthalpy of magnesium is greater than the first ionization enthalpy of sodium. Now removing the second electron. Sodium plus 1 electronic configuration neon 3s1. It is inert gas like electronic configuration, very difficult to remove, and that is why very difficult to remove electron, and that is why the second ionization enthalpy of sodium is very high. But when we look at the magnesium plus 1 ion has neon 3s1 electronic configuration. This neon 3s1 electronic configuration is not so stable, so it can be easily removed, or it easily loses the electron. As it can easily loses the electron, my dear students, from magnesium plus 1, magnesium 2 can be easily formed. When magnesium turns out to be magnesium plus 2, the electronic configuration turns out to be 3s0. This 3s0 electronic configuration is more stable. All the orbitals are completely filled. So it is completely filled electronic orbital. So magnesium plus 1 would be willing to turn out to be magnesium plus 2, and that is why the less amount of energy needed for turning magnesium plus 1 to magnesium plus 2. Magnesium plus 1 has 1 electron, that is in 3s, which is known as 3s1. The electronic configuration is not so stable. So magnesium plus 1, using the second ionization enthalpy delta IH2, turn into magnesium plus 2 and 1 electron. Magnesium plus 2 is like neon, which is very stable. So magnesium plus 1 easily release the electron, and thus the second ionization enthalpy of sodium is greater than the second ionization enthalpy of magnesium. This is how, my dear students, we answer the first question. Now we have the next question to study about. The first ionization enthalpy value in kilojoule per mole of group 13 elements are given. For boron it is 801, for aluminum it is 577, for gallium it is 579, for indium it is 558, for thallium it is 589. How would you explain this deviation from the general trend? First of all, to understand the question, we should know the general trend. This is where we are going down the group. Going down the group, the value of ionization energy generally decreases. So when the value of ionization energy generally decreases, let us see what happens. To understand the question and answer, let us write the electronic configuration. So you can see here that I have written the electronic configuration, my dear students, for you, so that we can understand this table well. Let us try to understand this table well so that you can have this table on your screen completely shared. Now you can see the table well. I guess so, or I hope so. Now let's look at this table. You can see the table, my dear students, that in this table you can easily understand, or you can easily see the various values written. So we have the element boron, aluminum, gallium, indium and thallium. Their electronic configuration is helium 2s2 2p1, neon, aluminum neon 3s2 3p1, gallium argon 3d10 4s2 4p1, indium krypton 5s2 4d1 5p1, thallium xenon 4f14 5d10 6s2 6p1. So you can see that while growing from boron to aluminum, the first ionization enthalpy decreases. From going aluminum to gallium, the first ionization enthalpy increases. From going gallium to indium, the first ionization enthalpy decreases. From going indium to thallium, the first ionization enthalpy increases. According to general stand, going from aluminium, boron to aluminium and going from gallium to indium, the trend has been followed. But when we look at the going from aluminium to gallium, we come to know that when we go from aluminium to gallium, the inner core n-1, that is 3d orbital, is being filled. So 10 electron goes inside the orbital, 10 electron goes to the core atom. As this 10 electron goes to the core atom, core orbitals, this 10 electrons, same way increases the number of proton. As this 10 electron increases the number of proton, the nuclear charge is being increased. As nuclear charge being increased, this nuclear charge attracts the electron very strongly. And as the effective nuclear charge has been increased, the pull towards the electron is being increased. And that is why it is difficult to remove that particular electron which is present into the P1, 4P1 especially. And that is why the value of ionization energy increases. The same thing happens while going from indium to thallium. You know, in thallium, there are 14 electron goes into the n-2, that is 4f orbital. You can see that generally the outer subshell or the period is 6. So 6s and 6p orbitals are being filled. But here in this case, 14 electron goes into the f orbital, which is 4f, which is two-step inner core. So the nuclear charge has been increased by increasing to the proton by almost 14 units, and this is how the electron present in 6p1 has been more attracted towards the nucleus, and that is why it is difficult to remove that electron. And this is how we can explain the trend, or this is how we can explain the exceptional behavior opposite to the trend for these two cases, either going from aluminium to gallium or going from indium to thallium. Let us read the answer, what I have written. To understand the question and answer, let us write the electronic configuration. Now we can understand it well. We know that when we look at the electronic configuration, we come to know that when we look at the electronic configuration, and compare, when inner 3d orbital is filled, the value of ionization enthalpy increases. When inner 4f orbital is filled, the value of ionization enthalpy increases. So the value of ionization enthalpy increases when the inner core orbitals are filled, which is the deviation from the trend. General trend is going down the group, ionization enthalpy decreases. The deviation can be easily understood because of the filling of n-1 d orbital going from third period to fourth period, and filling of n-2 f orbital going from fifth period to sixth period. And thus the reason, and this is the reason for the deviation of enthalpy or deviation of ionization enthalpy from the general trend. Now we have the next question. How would you react to the statement that the electronegativity of nitrogen on Pauling scale is 3.0 in all nitrogen compounds? The question asks us that does the electronegativity remain same for an element in all compound? Is it possible really? So we should read the sentence which is discussed during the theory. The electronegativity of any element is not constant. It varies and depends on the it varies depending on the element to which it is bound. So remember, my dear students, that for any element, the electronegativity cannot be constant, cannot be same. It depends on what element does the given element reacts with. So let us understand the same fact with one example. In this example, we can see that given statement is not exactly true for nitrogen. Now why? Let us see. electronegativity of nitrogen in NH3 and nitric oxide NO should be different. As in NH3, N is -3, and in NO, N is +2. So oxidation state are different in NH3 and NO for nitrogen. Thus, the ability to attract shared bond pair electron should change after the formation of the compound, and that is why the electronegativity of nitrogen cannot be same in all its compounds. So this is how we can answer this question easily, my dear students. Now we have the next question. Would you expect the first ionization enthalpy or two isotopes of the same element to be same or different? Justify your answer. My dear students, in 9th standard, we had studied about the isotopes. So according to the definition, we can say that for isotope of same elements have same atomic number, same number of electron, same number of proton, and they have same chemical properties. But my dear students, isotopes differ in number of neutrons and physical properties. So isotopes differ in number of neutrons and physical properties. Property related to the removal of electron is a chemical property, because anything that is related to the electron should be considered chemical. So property related to the removal of electron is a chemical property. It has not much correlation with the number of neutrons. So thus we should say that ionization enthalpy of two isotopes should be same for if the isotope belong to the same element. So we can say that yes, ionization enthalpy of two isotopes of the same element should be same. Then we have the next question. Use the periodic table to answer the following question. Now we will have to use the periodic table, and we are going to answer the question. The first question. Identify an element with the five electron in its outer subshell. Here, my dear students, we should know what is subshell. Can any of you tell me what do you understand by the subshell? Dear student, I am asking you. You won't answer. Okay. Subshell means SPDF. So when you look at the group number 17 elements, you generally find that their electronic configuration is NS2NP5. So there are 5 electrons into the outer subshell, that is NP, and that is why you can give the example of fluorine. Identify the element that would tend to lose 2 electrons. So we can say that in group 2 elements which have the general electronic configuration NS2, they have tendency to lose 2 electrons and become like inert gas, and that is how this element would tend to lose 2 electrons. So let us give the example of magnesium. Identify the element that would tend to gain 2 electrons. Now it comes to the gaining of electron. It is quite obvious, my dear students, that gaining of electron is the property of non-metals. So when we look at the group 16 elements, we find that their general electronic configuration is NS2NP4. Now if they gain 2 electron, would tend to gain 2 electron to be NS2NP6, and that is why group 16 elements have a tendency to gain 2 electron, and that is why we can give the example of O, that is oxygen. And the last question for today, my dear student, is that identify the group having the metal, non-metal, liquid element as well as gas at the room temperature. So to answer this question, my dear students, we have to consider something, that is what, because that is the only case where we can answer this question truly. So such group with metal, let us consider iodine. So if we consider iodine as a metal, then yes, such group is non-metal. We consider as fluorine, chlorine, bromine. Liquid element is bromine, present in group number 17 at room temperature, and gases like fluorine and chlorine are also present into this particular group. So we can answer this question considering iodine as a metal, and we can say that group number 17 is a is a group that is having metals, non-metals, liquid element as well as gases. So we can say that group number 17, the group of halogen, is the is the group where iodine we have as a metal. It has non-metals like fluorine, bromine, bromine. It has liquid element which is liquid bromine at room temperature, and it has gases like fluorine and fluorine. Yet, my dear students, there are few more things to be discussed from the exercise, but this discussion we will extend into some next period. There is a possibility that I may share an extra video for you today so that you can watch it and ask me if you have any doubt tomorrow. We will be mostly discussing the exercise question into today's video. आप सबसे बहुत रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप सब लोग ये वीडियो जरूर देखिए और उसको अच्छे से पढ़ना है. आपको ये वीडियो देख के ग्रुप में शेयर करना है कि आपने वीडियो देख लिया है. आई होप यू विल डू इट.